friends. Welcome to the Creative Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Caldwell, and I'm so happy you're here. Each episode, I take some time to chat with fellow artists about life, faith, and the impact of the arts. Hey everyone, it is so good to be back with you here on the podcast. It's been kind of a crazy busy season. I don't know about you, but you may have noticed that the last Creative Impact Podcast episode came out in early September. Shortly after that, my husband and I ended up actually purchasing a house and moving. And so we've been in kind of this whirlwind of just life happening. And I'm also in the midst of football season with my dance team that I direct. And so it's just been a lot going on. And I felt like it was time to kind of just take a quick pause on the podcast and be able to focus in those areas. But I'm super, super excited that things have settled down enough that the podcast is back. So I'm recording this right now from my new podcast studio in our new home, aka an understair storage closet. Yes, you heard me. An understair storage closet. It's pretty awesome. It's great. Definitely fits the needs of just having a nice small space with some carpet. So hope that you all enjoy the audio quality. With all that being said, I hope you are having an amazing fall, and I cannot believe we are in November, you guys. Only a couple of months to the end of 2021, and we have some super fun episodes coming your way. Today is such a fun conversation with my new friend, Danielle Beckmann. I was introduced to Danielle through Stella Omblade, who has been a multi-episode guest for the podcast. And Danielle is so much fun. She was just a blast to get to hang out with for this interview. Danielle calls herself a bi-coastal multi-hyphenate creative based in Los Angeles. In 2017, Danielle and her husband co-founded the production company Brooklyn Quarter, where she most recently produced and starred in their 2021 Tribeca Film Festival official selection short film, Liza Anonymous. Danielle also loves leading actors and creatives into their full potential and power through her coaching company, the Spirited Storyteller. You'll get a chance to hear more about these projects and just about Danielle's personal journey in the arts in our conversation today. An exciting update that we don't necessarily talk about in the show, but you should definitely check out, is that Danielle and the team at Brooklyn Quarter are premiering a new tabletop web series show called Novel Chronicles on November 9th on the Brooklyn Quarter YouTube channel. November 9th is just a week away, so be sure to check it out. I'm so excited for you to get to know Danielle and to get connected in with the different creative works that she's got going on right now. Enjoy my conversation with Danielle Beckmann.
It's so funny. My husband is recording voiceover in the other room, which is hilarious.
Perfect. That's great.
Which you can't hear, so that's good.
Yeah. So y'all must have some pretty good, sound proofing.
We do. Yeah, we do. We have our second bedroom is our production company. So
That's
it's
so cool.
Soundproofed and yeah.
Love it. Okay, so are you married to the guy that's on the website, the production company website?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, that's
okay.
my husband. Yeah.
Cool. I was checking it out. I was like, who's, checking out your work and stuff, and it's super fun.
Yes. So we got married in the pandemic. We got married in June 2020.
Goodness.
It was really intense, but it was really amazing. And we're both extroverts. So that was hard. That was really hard. But we might have a big reception.
Awesome.
At this point with Delta hanging around. We're like, we're just going to keep doing our own thing. And so have we officially started?
I apologize. Yes. Welcome, Danielle, to the podcast. So good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm delighted to be here. And I didn't even know if we'd started or not. So this is great.
We just flowed right into it. So I'll probably just put in the intro, so we just jumped right into talking, but it's cool.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
So fun. Yes. Well, it's really great that Stella got us connected. She's amazing. And
she is amazing.
Yeah. Did y'all meet in New York then?
Yes, we met in New York and we actually I had the chance to dance on stage with her.
Really?
Actually. And that was an honor because she is such a brilliant, expressive dancer and like a master of her body. And for me, I grew up dancing and I had not danced in this way since 2008, I think.
Okay.
No, I did some musical. I was the lead in a musical back in like, I think 2013. So I had done some dancing, but yeah, it was at the She Is Free conference, led by Andy Andrew in New York City. Yeah. So yeah, Stella and I got to do that. And it was, so cool. It was magical. Yeah. We always kind of ran in similar like artist circles and
love that. That's so fun.
So shout out to Stella.
Hey, Stella. I know. I'm like, this is like Stella show. Not really, but I just love her. And she
okay.
Was
and
my
now we're done
guest.
with you, Stella. She was? She was your first guest? That's
first
amazing.
Ever. Yeah. And then I had her come back for the
I saw
1
that.
year.
I saw that.
So she was also episode, whatever that was, 53.
Yeah, 50 something. Congratulations on getting in the 50s.
Thank you.
It's really awesome what you got going on. So
thanks. I know I heard somewhere that it's like if you make it past 10, that's better than like 75%.
Most people, yes. Oh gosh, those statistics are fascinating.
Yeah.
About so many different creative endeavors. Yes.
Just the stick with itness, I guess, you know?
Absolutely.
It's been definitely so much fun, especially during the pandemic, you know, because everyone's been more disconnected. So it's nice to have an outlet to like connect with people and also, you know, for other people to listen in and, you know, feel like
and yeah, you feel like you're having a conversation in your living room or, you know, getting to meet someone new. Yeah. It's so, as much as I've heard a lot of people have Zoom fatigue and all this stuff, you know, it is really a saving grace to have things like Zoom and shows like your show. So
yeah, well, thanks. It's super cool. So do you want to just share a little bit about yourself and kind of like the brief intro, and then we'll dive into your journey?
Sure. Absolutely. So yeah, for those listening, I'm Danielle Beckmann. And I am an actor, producer, filmmaker, and coach. I live in Los Angeles. I was in New York for 13 years. I grew up in California, so I did like a little boomerang.
Nice.
I was here, then I went to New York, and now I'm back. But I do call myself bicoastal. And yeah, most recently, my short film that I executive produced and starred in, Liza Anonymous, it was an official selection at the Tribeca Film Festival. So
that is so awesome.
Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was a dream premiere, and we premiered in June of this year, just 2 months ago in New York City, downtown, to 600 people. It was sold out.
That's amazing.
And all the screenings were outdoors.
Okay.
And yeah, and the festival was started 20 years ago. It was the 20th anniversary. And it was started in response to revitalizing the city for 9/11. And so here they are 20 years later, revitalizing the city after COVID-19 and really just, you know, rebuilding and bringing people together in safe ways. And yeah, it was a dream. So yeah, so now that my baby, that film is going on to other festivals, and I'm embarking on making the feature of Liza Anonymous.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's happening.
Yes.
And if anyone listening wants to get on board, we're looking for investors. So hit me up.
Yes. And we'll definitely share links in the show notes. So y'all should check it out.
Rachel, you're the best.
It'll be so fun.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to now. And other important facts about me are that I love pugs. I'm on a wait list for a pug right now.
So sweet.
And my husband and I have our production company. We just finished casting for our live stream tabletop web series where we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
And we have a bunch of actors sitting around a table using their imagination to tell a great story. So that's going to be coming out in the fall.
Okay. So fun. A lot of really neat things in the works that are kind of, it's pretty cool that you're able to be doing these things even in the midst of kind of the craziness of the past year and a half, you know?
Absolutely. And even when the pandemic began, my friend Matthew Solomon created this production company, and he did this event called Creation in Isolation. And he commissioned me to write a 3-part triptych like web series. Okay. And it had one actor in it. The actor filmed it in their own apartment. There was a director directing them from Zoom. It was like we forced ourselves to make something, and it really got my writing chops sharpened and going. And so even in that state of sort of confusion or fear, uncertainty of the pandemic, there was still creativity happening. So thank goodness.
So good. Yes, that's awesome. Love hearing what people are doing and just the creative ways people are problem solving and figuring out new ways to do what we do,
Yeah, it stretches you. It's like you have to find a way. So
Exactly. Well, I would love to hear just how you first got into the arts. And I know you shared with me, I can't remember if we were recording yet or not.
I don't think we were. I don't
think so. But that you have done dance. And I think you mentioned that a little bit, but just, what was your kind of early experiences in the arts?
Yeah, getting into the arts, it was sort of like, if I was metal, it was a magnet. Like I was like, boom, like just always going to happen.
Nice.
Yeah. My parents put me in soccer when I was like 6 and they're like, oh, is she supposed to Tande Potterbury down the field like that? Maybe we should try something else for her. And just sashaying all over the place. Yes. And so my soccer was short-lived, but I have mad respect.
Yes.
Starting out, I grew up doing musical theater and a lot of dance, tap, ballet, and jazz. And all the way through, I got my BFA in theater performance from Chapman University, which is actually where I met the writer of Liza Anonymous. We met there. Yeah. Okay. So she ended up writing the film for me. So just, creating amazing friendships and creative connections there. But I've always been on stage. So the whole, on camera filmmaking thing has been really in the last decade, whereas my whole life has been on stage.
Yeah. What was that shift like when you kind of transitioned from stage to film?
I remember being really shaky and a little bit insecure, like, oh gosh, how am I, someone who is very expressive and big on stage, how am I going to do in front of a camera? Yeah. And my first little web series I shot, which was with a couple of actor friends. And I played this character. I know her name was Christy Lee. And the scene was Christy Lee and her mom at a restaurant, and the waiter came up and she started fully flirting with him and even like gave him a hotel room key.
Oh my goodness.
Really went far with it. And we played Southern tourists who were in New York City for the week. And I was like, my character, Christy Lee, was so embarrassed. And she was like, Mom, Yeah. And I kept thinking, am I going to do this? Is the camera on me the right way? Like, am I looking in the right places? And luckily it was with friends. Gosh, by now I think this was surely like 9 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
And I watched the footage back and I was like, you know what? I'm not bad at this.
Yeah. Nice.
I can do that. Like, I was like, I can do this. And I never thought in a million years that my acting from stage would translate. And of course, I was young. I didn't, it's not like I hired an acting coach for this small part, but I said, oh, wow, I could do it. And that gave me confidence. And actually around that time was when I actually started to coach other actors and coach them on their monologues and scenes and all the stuff, which also sharpened me as an actor. And and I'm still coaching to this day. My coaching looks a little bit different, but just, it's one of those things you never know till you try. Right. Yeah. And so I'm really glad I tried. And then I said, I think I can do this.
I can hang here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So fun.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thanks. So I'm curious, what took you to New York in the first place?
I actually applied for this program called Springboard NYC, and they are run by the American Theater Wing. The American Theater Wing produces the Tony Awards every year, and they have amazing programs for students and schools, and they have this amazing internship program. And because I applied to Springboard and I ended up getting in the musical theater division, I got to go to the Tonys.
Oh, cool.
And then I got to go 3 more times. I've been to the Tonys 4 times.
Wow.
And
That's so fun.
Oh yeah, it's amazing every time I go. But that program took me out there, and I would say about 3 out of the 45 people in my class actually stayed in New York. Most everyone was either a rising senior in college, or they went just for the 3-week program and then moved back home. But I went and I stayed. And my mentors were Michael Emerson, Anika Noni Rose, Neil Patrick Harris, Seth Rudetsky, like amazing Broadway and TV actors were our mentors. And so Sam Gold, his shelf of Tonys is probably crazy by now.
Yeah.
But like, just these people. And that was 2008.
Wow. I mean, what an incredible experience just to be able to enter into that world in that sort of way and have those kind of mentors. And then, know.
Well, and also what the program did was it was a boot camp for actors basically. And so they gave you everything you needed to know about New York real estate, everything you needed to know about the subway, so they were like, if you want to move here, this is the whole package. Yeah. This is how to follow up with people, send thank you cards. That's awesome. Get these headshots. Like, yeah. So it was like great.
Crash course.
Such a gift. Yeah.
Yes. So good. So curious to just hear some of your experiences while you were living there. So you started off I guess, was it pretty early on that you switched into the film side of things, or were you on stage for quite a bit before then?
So yeah, I moved in 2008, and I like to think back and look at myself as like the queen of indie theater, because I was doing every off Broadway show, and then I got to do some amazing readings and workshops like at the Actors Studio and the National Black Theater and all these really prestigious venues. And then just kind of, getting leads in productions, then doing some off Broadway and, building it up. But then I started helping out a couple of friends producing. So I was a production manager on a couple of different friends' web series, and then I would get cast. Yeah. And then the on-camera thing happened, and I said, okay, my confidence is building up, and I'm just going to keep going. And then that brings us all the way up to November 2019 when we shot Liza Anonymous. Yeah. And it was 3 months before everything shut down, like 3.5 months. And yeah. And so, and I'm addicted to filmmaking now. Yeah. The bug has bitten me, and I am all in. And I foresee my Broadway career picking back up in my 50s. So,
nice.
Yes. That's sort of my prophetic, direction.
Love it. I love it so much. And it'll be fun. We can kind of watch your journey and see where you end up.
I know it's like, we're saying it here.
Yes.
Live. Okay.
Exactly.
On August 10th, 2021, except I know this episode will air a different day.
Right. But we're just marking it for today. And then, whenever the time comes, we can look back.
Exactly.
So great. Yeah. So when y'all filmed in 2019, you said November. So production, were you doing a lot of the production just at home, like in lockdown, essentially?
Well, no, because COVID hadn't hit yet. It was
that's true. Sorry. I guess not production, but like the editing and like post-production. I apologize. Yes.
Sorry.
Terminology.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, no, it's good to know. Yeah. Post-production was, at first we were like, okay, it was wrapped in November. And we thought, okay, final deadlines for like Tribeca Film Festival, for example, were like December, January. And we said, maybe we can edit it really fast and get it into the festivals to push it for this year. Yeah. And then it came about, we're like, you know what? No, like we're not there. We don't have the sound design we want. We're just going to wait. And then COVID hit, and we thought, okay, I'm really glad we waited instead of pushing out a product we're not fully happy with. Right. So all of post-production was Zoom meetings, Google Meet, phone calls, and now it's such a joyous place because just a few nights ago, Liza Anonymous filmed. It had its West Coast premiere at the Tribeca Drive-In at the Rose Bowl. Wow, so it showed on a big screen. It was so much fun. And like my director and my DP actually came out to LA for it. And we had all these producers and directors and filmmakers and just friends all meeting together outside.
Yeah.
Still, but getting to be together in person, and that made the post-production, I don't know, it's that much sweeter on the other end.
Right.
We were apart for so long, but we really nailed it on communicating. We got really good at communicating virtually.
And that's a whole skill in and of itself,
Oh, absolutely.
To be able to effectively communicate and get those things accomplished. So
that's yes. Awesome. And it was many emails. So I'm not going to say it was perfect, but yeah.
That's so great. So what took you to LA kind of in the midst of the pandemic?
Right. So let's see, we moved here. My husband and I moved here November 1st of 2020. And what took us here? So Brooklyn Quarter, our production company, we had a studio we rented in Brooklyn, and that's where we do our live stream tabletop web series. And we do all my self tapes, and that we have, editing bays there. So also another part of what I do is I'm also a video editor. So my husband and I actually work at the same company, which is hilarious.
That's so great.
And that's, and for me, it's such an amazing thing to have this, this sort of job that's flexible for me, with all these other creative endeavors. But so that was something in New York City, the space of Brooklyn Quarter, that we were going to have to lose. We were going to have to put everything in storage. And because we weren't putting out any content, and we were just hemorrhaging money on it, just sitting there. And it was so sad. So we're like, okay, do we pack it up? Do we put it in storage? And mind you, we just got married in isolation. So we're like, hey, we're married now. It's our first year of marriage, and we have to make all these really big, tough decisions. You know?
You're just like diving in the deep end.
Yeah. And I mean, gosh, that bonded us like no other, because now we've been married over a year, which is also wild to think about. But we actually were on a FaceTime with his brother who lives out here in Los Angeles. And he was just showing us around on his apartment. And we were like, oh, that's a big apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, look at those palm trees. That looks nice. Huh. Interesting. And I started separately Googling, a little bit of Zillow here, right. Looking at some apartments here and there in LA. And then the other room, Timothy was looking up a similar thing. And he walked in, he said, wait, what's on your screen? What are you looking at? And I was like, what are you looking at? Right. He's like, I was looking up things in Los Angeles. And I was like, so was I. And we were like, okay, this is a sign. So we did a really quick trip. This was before the vaccine, we did a really quick trip, tried to be as safe as possible, looked at like 6 apartments in one day.
Wow.
And found a spot that we liked, and with way more square footage, way less cost. We have our production company now in our in-house, literally it's in-house. And so we have everything under one roof right now. And we have a car, we have all this margin and all these things that we didn't have in New York. You have a little bit of, it's not as extreme as actual PTSD, but it's, you have a little bit of that lingering after you've lived in New York for 13 years, because it's like, okay, I have to go to the grocery store. All right, well, put your jacket on, get your boots on, make sure your arms aren't tired, because you're going to have to lift all your groceries to walk to Trader Joe's 2 miles away and back. Or you could get on the subway, but the train is further, so it doesn't even matter. You might as well just walk, like all of these things that you have to negotiate with yourself. Yeah. Whereas here, I just go, I'm going to pop to Trader Joe's, and I just walk to my car. I get in my car, I go to Trader Joe's, I get as many groceries as I want.
Right.
And then I come home.
Isn't it the best?
Oh my gosh. It is remarkable. Yeah. And so little things like that, but we left New York City on such a high note for us. Like, we didn't leave mad at it. We didn't leave jaded.
Yeah.
And we love the city. I've already been back twice this year for Tribeca. And then I shot a film just like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
That was in New York and Connecticut.
Nice.
Yeah. It's calling us back, so that's why I say I'm bi-coastal, because we're, that's
definitely
that's
living life both places for sure.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes. I still have my New York state of mind, even though I'm in LA. So
right. That's good. I love it. Well, just as far as your journey, like pursuing acting, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you feel like you've faced?
I really hate you for this question. No, I'm just kidding. No, how can you hate Rachel? She's amazing. Okay. Yeah, this is a big one because acting is such a special thing. Mm-hmm. And so many people have this desire to become actors because they want to express themselves and the stories that they want to tell through their whole body, right? As an actor, your instrument is your voice, your face, your jaw, how it forms like sounds to create an accent or a dialect, or how your hand sits, everything you can create a character in is your body's the instrument, whereas if you're playing the violin, you have your instrument and, you don't need to worry about really tuning up yourself. Right. Or your mind. I mean, of course you do need focus, you need different things, but with acting, you are the instrument. And so there's something so special about it that so many people want to do it because it is so special. Yeah. And because of that, the business is really saturated. There's so many people and it is so hard. And so the hardest things, I have this metaphysical filing cabinet that I put hard experiences into. Yeah. And now if something happens, if someone's acting a fool or acted inappropriately in a casting process or, overpromise and underdeliver or, backstab. I mean, I hate to use these terms, but this is, in any business, things happen, miscommunications happen and hurt can be caused because of it. Right. So when those things happen, my husband and I say, hey, put it in the filing cabinet, just put it there, put it in the file. It's not a part of your story. It's over there in that filing cabinet. And so, yeah, I've had a lot of hurt and pain. I was ready to leave the industry in 2017, 100%. Yeah. And in 2017 to 2018, I was definitely ready to leave because I kept getting, promises from producers or directors calling me in for things and just not having it stick. Gotcha. My agent was not really present. And also I have to say that that's something I regret. I regret not being in touch with the people I thought that I should have been in touch with at that time. Yeah. And now I've learned, and I call my manager every day and she's like, oh my God, it's you again. But we have a great rapport, so, yes. But with the heartache and everything, I channeled it into letting people know. I was like, I am not doing well. This is hard. And in October of 2018 was when my friend Leah McKendrick came to New York. We had dinner. We had dinner with our other friend who is in casting, and we sat and talked, and I was lamenting about my career. And she's like, listen, let me just write you something. And I was like, yeah, sure. Whatever, whatever. How often does that actually happen? I was like, okay. Yeah. And then we in December 2018, we got together and had a brunch in LA for when I was here for Christmas. She's like, okay, let me pitch you some ideas. And I was like, oh, you're serious about this? Yeah. Like this is actually happening. Okay. And at that time, she had just had her first script bought by Sony. Oh, wow. And she was like, hey, I just had my first script sold. It's Christmas break for me. I have time. What do you want? Let's work on something. Yes. And it just happened to be the perfect thing. And she said, I can't produce it, but I'll give it to you. And I went and produced it. And yeah, but now all this success is really heartening to see. And it's not overnight, it's not overnight. And so like just a thing that my dear friend Raji Hassan, he's an actor here in LA. The thing we talk about is don't get out of line. Just stay in line. Yeah. If you want this badly enough, just stay in line. If you have to get out of line because you don't want to act anymore, oh, please get out of line. go do the other thing. Like,
yes, it's like when the person in front of you, all the cars, and they pull out, you're like, yes.
Right. And it's like, but if you are in line for that pineapple and you want it, and you know there's only 5 and people start getting out of line ahead of you, it gets you closer to the pineapple, and you bless them as they go. But you're staying in line, you're putting in the time, you're persevering. And
there's no like magic, like poof, you're like at the front of the line. You got to
well,
wait it through.
And I do have to say that does happen once in a while. Like, but even, I look at people like, Emma Stone, I think she got Easy A when she was like 21 or 22, like she was young. But at the same time, she was a child actor, working really hard. So it's not like her journey just started then, although she is one of those very rare cases of actresses who skyrocket,
right.
And so, but it wasn't overnight success. She was still working at it from youth. So we all end up where we end up, hopefully in a purposeful way.
Right. Yeah. So, I love that answer. So good. I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to our patrons. Patrons, you guys are so amazing. Thank you for your encouragement, for your support of the show. You are a huge reason why I was motivated to get this back up and running as quickly as possible. If you are interested in becoming a patron and supporting the podcast, you can check out our Patreon community at creativeimpactpodcast.com/Patreon. That's creativeimpactpodcast.com/Patreon. Patreon is an awesome platform where you can help support the show and in return get some awesome bonus content from each of our conversations this fall. Next week on Patreon, there'll be some extra bonus content from today's conversation with Danielle, so be sure to check it out. Another huge way you can support the show is just telling your friends. And that seriously is the biggest compliment and one of the biggest ways to help support. Now let's get back to our conversation. What are some of your favorite moments? I know we kind of hit on challenges, but favorite experiences that you've had.
Favorite experiences. There are certain productions that I look back on and I get really excited about. I was in one called Vote for Me, and it was a musical, and there was a Republican candidate and a Democratic candidate. And at the end, the audience had to vote via text for who they wanted to win that night. And then there were alternate endings.
Okay.
And
that's so fun.
Yeah. And we had, I think around a 40-year-old guy to play the Republican candidate. And then I played the Democratic candidate, but let's see, at the time I was, I don't know, like 28, I was 29. I was younger, maybe even like 27. And so they kind of had to age me up,
Yeah.
But that was just so much fun. And that was produced by an 18-year-old. He got the funds, he hired the musical directors, and it really, the play stretched me because I wasn't doing musicals like that at the time. And I, lo and behold, got to play this leading character who I loved to play different every night. Some nights I'd play her a little bit more headstrong and a little bit more demanding. And then other nights I'd play her more like damsel in distress. And I found out the nights that I played her more demanding and headstrong, my character would lose the election.
Interesting.
And then the nights where I played her more like, oh, honey, will you help me with my speech? I mean, not changing the dialogue, but changing the tone and being more likable, I would win.
Interesting. That's very fascinating statement.
It was really
humanity or something.
Yes. And it was a fun experiment. So I really liked the sort of immersive quality of theater like that. And I also got to be in a Fringe Festival play called What Every Girl Should Know. And that one, we won some awards, and that one was an ensemble piece of 4 women. And I loved that with the interactions of everyone. And then, I mean, such a highlight of my whole New York career was filming my movie, filming Liza Anonymous.
Yeah.
So the highs have been the community. And then in 2017, just starting Brooklyn Quarter and starting it as a way, we really started it as a way to keep our friend group social. And we wanted to do a game night.
Oh, okay.
And my husband was like, well, Dungeons and Dragons was recommended to me. Why don't we try that? So we got to play this role playing game and figure it out together. And then a whole show emerged from it, over 100 episodes. And then I had an all women show where I had 4 actresses and myself. I played the game master narrator, and we played that one. That one was called Maven Brave. We did about 30 episodes of that. And so I think the high points are just those moments where I'm feeling, in the zone of collaborating with like-minded people on a project that is, that people want to watch.
Right. It's like engaging, and community is key for sure.
Yes.
Building those bridges and having those people that are walking with you through the hard times, through the great times,
Yes. 100%. So I wish that upon everyone.
Yeah, for sure. We can all have solid community we're a part of. It was fun. I got to watch some of your videos. I was like just searching, like I said, and
oh my gosh,
great.
What did you see?
So, I looked up first your website. So I was watching, like, I guess it would be like kind of the reels or whatever.
Yes.
And that was so fun. And then kind of ended up on the YouTube channel for the production company too.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So much fun stuff to check out. And I love how, it feels like you have a real gift for humor as well.
Thank you. I pride myself on my comedy. So thank you.
Yes. So the comedy element, I think, is so awesome and just really key. I think people open up, more. I was talking to, there was a comedian that came on the show, and he was saying that a lot of times, if you're able to get people to laugh, like, they'll receive a lot more quickly, I guess.
Well, and also humor is also a doorway to grief and mourning as well. Like, if you look at someone, God, I feel like I've been talking about Jack Nicholson all week. It's so, I don't know why, but I keep talking about him. But if you look at him, he's hilarious, but underneath all his comedy is this like deep sort of sorrow that he's able to bring to a character.
Yeah.
But it's holding both of those things at once. I look at someone like Lucille Ball in some of the very few dramatic things she's been in. She's an amazing actress, and so that's something that I keep honing, is like my comedic instincts, my comedic timing. I always stick with that first, and then I layer in what else is there.
Yeah.
And so with Liza Anonymous, I was actually playing more of what you would call the straight person. I wasn't, the character of Milton was the funnier one. I know you haven't seen the full film. Oh my gosh.
No, but I definitely want to see
it. There will be chances. I know. I got to get it too. But from the trailer, you can kind of see this character of Milton who's kind of eyeing me up. And he proves to be, the comedic relief. So, but that's another important thing, is serving the project. If I was trying to be like, yuck, 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 stealing every scene, I'm funny, like, let me make sure I'm seen as the lead protagonist. It's like, hey, you don't have to work that hard. Just show up, just serve the play, serve what it's calling for. Luckily, in the last film that I just did, the one I just shot like 2.5 weeks ago on the East Coast, it was a horror comedy, and my character was the comedy.
Nice.
So like, I really
just totally lean into it.
I just went for it. She was from Brooklyn, like, it was really
nice.
Fun. Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah, that's good. That's a good word as far as just like, whatever the role is that in life as well, that we can like serve whatever community we're in, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, oh wow, key. That's so good. Yeah.
And not, like I said, not trying so hard to like, I don't know.
Yeah. You don't need to force it. And I think too, that that goes along with, with like what you said, like seeing where the need is and filling it. And it's like, okay, if I'm auditioning for a role or if I'm dancing in a piece, your mark. If you go off your mark, you're going to like mess up the formation, yes. and then you've made it about yourself. And it's like, no, just serve the beautiful piece that's at hand. And then maybe one day you'll have a solo, and then you can do your own thing.
Yes. But, so good. Like take that little snippet to share with my students. That's so
Take
good.
It. Take
yes. It. Words of wisdom. So I'm curious just to hear from you from, walking through a lot of different seasons as an artist, as an actor, how have you found balance and like helped keep things in perspective, I guess, in your life?
Yeah. Man, Rachel, you're just going for it. You're just asking those
diving in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I was warned. Stella told me. So this is good. No, this is really good. But for me, I said I met my husband at a church, and I'm not currently, we moved cross country, and I'm not currently fully involved in a church right now. But I have always kept the faith of a higher power. Some people call it God, some people call it the universe. But to me, God is so much bigger than we always put into a box. And so my true north has always been that guidance, that intuition, prayer. Those things have always centered me. And also my best friends, I have to say, my friends. So we go back to community. My friends are absolute gems. They're wonderful people. And I should mention, I'm an only child. So I don't have any siblings, and so I never grew up with brothers or sisters. And so I've always looked at my friends as family. And so that and my faith, and, also now I have, he was my boyfriend, now my husband, as people that I trust, I listen to, they're wise. Yeah. It's like checks and balances, right? It's like, okay, well, you know what? This is a situation I'm going through. So I'm going to be mindful and like thoughtfully take this into consideration and pray about it. And then I'm also going to ask my friends to weigh in on what's going on, or, chat with my parents about it, who have so much wisdom and have always supported my career. So those are the things that really keep me balanced, because I need it, because I can get dramatic. Surprise. Maybe not. So
I know you mentioned coaching towards the beginning a little bit, and I know we're kind of getting towards the end of our time, but I would love to hear a little bit more about your coaching kind of business element.
Absolutely. So my company is called the Spirited Storyteller. It used to be called, name. Thank you. It was called Clinch the Callback back in New York City. I think I started it in like 2013, 2014. And when I had clinched the callback, it was more acting coaching, callback coaching, on camera, grad school, regional theater, Broadway. I was coaching all my friends, and then clients that were referred to me on, on acting and on scenes and things like that. But now I've studied under Nicole Rogers. Her company is called Zen Red NYC, and she is an empowerment coach. And I studied under her, helping her as her head coach in this program called the Fearless Academy. And that gave me a whole bunch of amazing insight and experience. And we just coached artists in this like year-round program. So I was with these same people year-round, from visual artists to photographers to what have you. And so now with the Spirited Storyteller, I decided to have options of, okay, I can do acting coaching like straight away. But then also I have clients that go through, whether we do like a 6-month coaching together or we do like an intensive one-on-one. I coach people from fashion designers to voiceover artists to film and TV people in New York. One of my clients is in Australia. Cool. She actually messaged me while we were on this. And she got in touch with me from another podcast I did. She heard me on a podcast and got in contact with me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yes. Well, I hope that you'll get more people
through
this podcast. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I absolutely love my clients. And I also, through the Spirited Storyteller, the idea is that through the Spirited Storyteller, I like to help artists and actors and creatives get unstuck in their craft so that they can get back to the creating and storytelling they want to do. It's like, how do we pull away all the stuff to get you back to square one of what you want to do? So everything from, working on those limiting beliefs, like getting rid of those limiting beliefs, to actually brass tacks of how do we set up your voiceover booth, to marketing websites, it's holistic coaching. And I usually have an event called the Refresh Gathering that I love to do. I've been off for the summer, but actually, no, I've only been off for 1 month. I'm proud of myself. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was off for July, but the Refresh Gathering is really, really fun. So if anyone listening wants to be notified about future Refresh Gatherings, you can go to thespiritedstoryteller.com and sign up for my list and you will be notified. And they're literally like these hour-long Zoom sessions where I do a nourishing exercise for everyone there. We connect, like real human to human connection. And there's usually a theme. One of them was about like staying consistent through the ups and downs of your artistic career. And what does that look like? And so it's been really, really great. But I love my clients and I didn't know I would have this many, because I have my editing job. I have my filmmaking, I have a lot of irons in the fire, but I still prioritize them and I love it. So
seems like definitely a place of need, kind of like we were talking about earlier, but that's a place of need in this industry.
How do you serve? Exactly.
Love that so much.
Thank you.
Well, as we're kind of like winding down, just wanted to know, is there something that you would like to share with other artists right now?
So for artists out there, I know I just used this word like a minute ago, but the word nourishment really comes to mind. Do what nourishes you. And I think that paying attention to your triggers and your environments and your body, like what your body's telling you, is so important, and noticing like, wow, I was talking to a friend about how they put all these auditions on tape, like maybe 10 in 1 week, and then didn't hear anything, no callbacks, no bookings, nothing. And they started to feel absolutely overwhelmed. I'm like, pay attention to that. What does that mean? What does that look like? What is the perspective that can be shifted there? And so just really being aware and, when we're on camera or on stage, we're usually aware of everything, right? We're aware of our blocking. We know our spatial awareness of where everything is. As a dancer, exactly like how high you're jumping. And so let's do that a little more in our own lives if that's going to help, in the long run. Because too, if there's information your body's telling you that it's stressed or it's, XYZ, you have to pay attention to that to have like a really healthy long-term career. And that's for any human listening, really.
Yes, exactly. We can all take that and just like,
don't ignore the warning signs too, I had a big warning sign going off when I was still living in New York during the pandemic. And I was like, I feel stuck. I feel like I've hit a wall. in my career and in what's going on. I just got married. What's going on? I should be feeling like a new beginning. Oh, but wait, the world is not letting us go anywhere, And so moving to LA was just the right thing because we were aware and listening.
That's such a good piece of advice and just something that I think we can all take to heart right now, especially, One thing that I love to ask every guest, and it's just a fun question, is what is one of your favorite things right now? Seriously, like as small as, I don't know, lip gloss to like something big.
I love lip gloss with all my heart. I can never leave the house without, I have like 17 lip glosses in my fanny pack right now. And I went on it, and this is not the thing. I actually have a thing, but the fact that you said lip gloss, I was like, Rachel, you have no idea. I went to go on a walk yesterday with my husband and we walked outside. I was like, whoa, my fanny pack is way too heavy. So I took it off my shoulders and I opened it. I was like, oh, it's because I have 20 different lip colors in here. So I removed them all. I kept one chapstick and then we went on a walk. I was like, geez, Louise Beckmann, what are you doing? So no, right now, my favorite thing right now is the clothing company. They're called And Other Stories.
Ooh, I've not heard of this.
They are Scandinavian designers and they pull from different ateliers to create their collection.
Okay.
And I absolutely love them. I wore one of their dresses. I wore two of their different dresses on the red carpet at Indie Shorts Festival. I wore multiple of their dresses when I was in New York for the week of Tribeca. Oh my gosh. They're just for that minimalistic, but on trend, classy gal.
Okay.
Or guy. If guys like to wear skirts, definitely check it out.
Right. Love it.
So it's called And Other Stories.
And Other Stories. Okay,
yeah. It's like it's like a fragment of a sentence. So people get confused, but yeah,
that's really cool. Definitely have to check them out. Sounds really great. Love it. I love getting recommendations for
yes.
Great things out there.
I'm obsessed. So
and by the way, I think just the fact that you're wearing a fanny pack is very on trend right now too. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I did a thing in my Instagram story yesterday because I was wearing a sweater set, tank top sweater knitted set from And Other Stories. And I was on a walk with my husband and Rachel, this Gen Zer on her bicycle rode up next to me and was like, I love your outfit. And I was like, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I'm 35. You don't even know. Like, I'm like, oh my God, yes. The people 20 years younger than me love my outfit.
I love it.
And it was from And Other Stories.
Yep. There you go.
Not a sponsor. And I am not getting paid to say this. I am just excited.
Just a true fan. Exactly. I know I stay somewhat like relevant through my students, but I'm probably like 3 years behind. So,
oh my gosh. But listen, 3 years behind might be like 4 years ahead. Okay. You never know.
Things are coming back. It's true. Yeah, all sorts of stuff is coming back right now. It's kind of crazy, but fun times. Well, this has been such a joy and so much fun.
This has been so much fun.
I would love to be able to connect people to your work, and I will definitely link in the show notes. But if you want to just share out kind of the best place to connect with you, that would be great. Your places.
Absolutely. Please follow me on Instagram at dbeck. It's DEEBECK. My website is daniellebeckmann.com. And for all things Liza Anonymous, you can go to lizaanonymousfilm.com.
Perfect.
And more on that soon. Also, oh wow, I have so many websites. You can check out brooklynquarter.com to see what's going on with our new show. And finally, thespiritedstoryteller.com.
Yes. Okay. The great thing is they're all very easy to remember.
Yeah, we try to come up with like good names,
yes, that you can get the domain name for as well. That's excellent.
Oh, nailing it.
Yes. Well, Danielle, you are just amazing. Thank you for taking the time to come on the show today.
Thank you so much, Rachel. You are amazing. And congratulations on over 50 episodes. And thank you so much for having me.
Guys, wasn't she so much fun? I just loved getting to hang out with Danielle and hearing more about her life, her journey, and the wisdom that she's gained from working in multiple disciplines in the arts. You can find all the links to Danielle's work and the things that we talked about on the show today on our website, creativeimpactpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to check out the Brooklyn Quarter YouTube channel a week from today on November 9th to see the premiere of the new tabletop web series show, Novel Chronicles. Thank you so much for listening to the Creative Impact Podcast. If the show has been encouraging to you, I would be so grateful if you'd be willing to share this conversation with a friend. The music for the show was produced by Michael Cash. Until next time, remember that you were designed to create, made to inspire. Continue living with purpose and making an impact. See you next time, friends.